Today is July the 11th. What is truly important? Let's find out together as we read Joshua chapters 7 and 8. In reading through the Bible in a year, I'd like you to read Joshua chapters 7 and 8. As we read these chapters, a question occurred to me. Why is Achan's sin so incredibly important? We do see something here. Achan is the only one who has sinned, so there is individual responsibility. But there is corporate punishment, corporate guilt, if you would. The actions of one man impacted not just that one man and his family, but impacted the entire nation of Israel. After defeating Jericho, they go against a relatively insignificant city, Ai, and they are defeated by Ai. We know that when they went to Jericho, the Lord declared the city of Jericho Cherem. Cherem, actually it's the same root word of a harem of ladies. They were reserved solely for the king. Cherem is reserving solely for God, the booty, the destruction of the city and the goods of the city. They were not to take any of that. But we see in chapter 7, very early on, a man named Achan took some of these things that had been dedicated to the Lord and kept them, some gold, some silver, some clothing, and as a result, the entire nation of Israel suffered. In 7:11, after Israel's defeat, Joshua goes to the Lord. He's heartbroken. He tears his clothes. He goes into repentance. He puts dust on his head. And God says to him, verse 10, "Get up. Why are you lying here?" The Lord's response is very curt. He's saying to Joshua, you know what's going wrong. Somebody has broken the Cherem, and they draw lots to determine who that was. In verse 11 of chapter 7, Israel has sinned and broken my covenant. They have broken my covenant. God declared those items dedicated to him, both in verse 1, here in 11, verse 12, verse 13, and verse 15. The references to the Cherem, to the things that had been dedicated to the Lord. Israel had broken that, and Israel needed to rectify that. They identify Achan. Achan is punished in chapter 8. Israel attacks Ai, defeats Ai. But at the end of chapter 8, look at what happens in verse 30. Joshua built an altar to the Lord, the God of Israel, on Mount Ebal. And again, just like they had in the book of Deuteronomy, Israel recites the blessings and the curses of obeying God's command. Now, this is obviously very important. We started today with a question: what is truly important? Achan apparently thought that taking some gold, some silver was not a big issue. God said, oh, it's a big issue. Breaking my covenant, disobeying me, overtly saying, yes, I know what God has asked. I will not do that. That's important. What's truly important? Listening to God, doing what God tells you. Those are the things that are truly important. Like, follow, and subscribe to this devotional on whatever platform you use to listen to it. Email your questions to us at questions@becomehope.com. Tomorrow, we'll ask the question, what should we do if we're deceived?